The people who used to carry sufurias in the streets, led by Mbadi here, yeah, have left the streets because the price of unga has come from 240, is now 160, 140, 120. Tea. In 2022, we sold our tea exports and sales were 138 billion. Last year, our tea was 215 billion. Those of you sitting here who grow coffee, a kilo of coffee was 65 shillings in 2022. A kilo of coffee today is between 110 and 150. Why? We have subsidized fertilizer. We have chased away the cartels. The people who are registered as farmers, brokers, millers, and also buyers at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, we have gotten rid of them and we have streamlined that sector. Farmers are making more money. It is a commitment I made that I would do, and I can proudly tell you that today we are making more money from our agriculture. I can confidently tell you today we have streamlined the sugar sector, which had big problems. Unfortunately for the people in that sector who are taken hostage, the sugar sector, I had been Minister for Agriculture, so I knew where the problem was. So we've sorted it out, and in a space where sugarcane farmers, they were taking their produce, they wait for 6 months, maybe sometimes 1 year. And I'm sure if you have sugarcane farmers here or at home, they will tell you. Finally, there was no money. I had to look for money from government to go and pay farmers, to go and pay workers in sugar factories. And I told them that that was not going to go on. It's not going to be business as usual. If you heard that I made a phrase called Mambo ni Matatu, it was because of sugar. And I went and told those crooked people there, you have to get out of this space because it was not going to be business as usual. So what has happened in that space? Because of the interventions we have made, production in the sugar sector has moved from 495, almost 500,000 metric tons in 2022. This year, we were at 815,000 metric tons. From 50 billion shillings every year to now 90 billion. And today I can confidently tell you, Mumias, which could not pay workers, which could not pay farmers, which could not pay taxes. Today, Mumias pays farmers every 7 days. Pays their workers every month. This year in January, we went to pay dividends to sugarcane farmers for the first time in the history of Kenya. I am not talking about what's going to happen. I am talking about what happened. And end of this year, by God's grace, because now we have brought the private sector using the Mumias experience into Nzoia, Chemelil, Muhoroni, and Sony. We will be doing the same end of this year. We will be paying dividends in our farming factories. So, and my promise to you is that in the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years, Kenya will be a net exporter of sugar. We have already licensed another 4 new factories. Farmers have grown sugar on an extra 200,000 acres of land in Kenya because they can now see a future to that enterprise. And so we're transforming the agricultural sector. And to be able to achieve that, I tell you, we've had a fight, big fight, you know. The cartels in the sugar sector did not want it to happen. They organized demonstrations, they intimidated leaders, and they did all manner of things, but I stood my ground, and I said, this is a job I have to do, and whatever it takes, I must do it. So what has happened in that space? We have now a much more predictable space. Sorry, gentlemen. There is a, I think you can leave it. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I can tell you is that because of the interventions we have done in the agricultural sector, and we are still miles away, we have now started interventions in the rice sector because we are still importing 70% of our rice. We shouldn't be. We're working on cotton. We're working on other value chains. And so that will eventually help us in 2 ways. Number one, we will substantially reduce the cost of living, because a huge portion of the expenditure of citizens is expenditure on food. It goes all the way to 55%. If you reduce that, then you substantially reduce the cost of living. So my assurance to you and to fellow citizens in Kenya is that because of the interventions we've done in the agricultural sector, we have reduced imports of maize, for example, by 80%. And we have reduced imports of sugar by 70%. Let me tell you this. We have been spending 500 billion Kenya shillings every year to import food, to import edible oil, to import sugar, maize, wheat, rice, 500 billion shillings every year. It is my intention, at least this year, I have reduced from 500 billion to 280 billion. I've cut off 220